Have you ever noticed the shockwaves shaking up the U.S. tourism industry in 2021? 8 major American brands, once considered strong symbols of success, are now teetering on the edge of losing billions in revenue. What could be causing these once unstoppable names to fail on their own home turf? It's not economic downturns or pandemics. It's soaring prices, security concerns, and visa barriers. While once bustling shopping streets are now eerily quiet and casinos that were once packed with players around the world now stand still. 5 countries are quietly celebrating as they welcome the very tourists who used to flock to the U.S. You might be able to guess some of these brands, but a few will undoubtedly surprise you. If you skip the final part of this video, you'll miss the most crucial clue about new travel mandates quietly taking shape. The bigger question here is, how will this trend reshape the U.S. tourism industry and the job market? And don't forget, now you can walk right into Disney without waiting in line. But the reason isn't because you have a priority pass or know someone at the gate. This huge shift is happening right before our eyes. As President Donald Trump once said, "We need to make America great again, and a big part of that is keeping our strength in the tourism industry." So what do you think about this trend? How do you think these changes will reshape America's tourism industry? The reality is, no one has to wait anymore. 10 years ago, a trip to Disney was the highlight of the year for thousands of families. But now, many have completely missed out on that experience. And this isn't just gossip. Online videos constantly show that Disney parks are eerily empty, to the point where Disney characters have to run out and personally invite guests to join in the fun. International visitors to Disney have dropped over 20% since 2019, while the cost of a single-day ticket has now reached $150, not including food or souvenirs. Sometimes you could spend that same amount on a Lego set and even sign up for a month of Netflix. But price isn't the only reason why tourists are turning away. Many visitors have shared, "I went to Disney once, came back, and nothing had changed. It was just way more expensive." Meanwhile, Disney Tokyo continues to roll out new attractions, and Disney Shanghai has even transformed the entire park into a Broadway-style spectacle under the open sky. Surprisingly, even Americans are now willing to fly halfway across the world to experience these parks. What's shocking is that the ticket prices aren't cheaper, but everyone agrees it's worth every penny. With the same budget, families can enjoy a foreign vacation, experience a fresh take on Disney, and show off their travels to friends and family. This year, we went to Japan. This is the biggest problem Disney faces today. Not just losing visitors to the parks, but also losing customers to destinations outside of the U.S. If you're from the generation that took your kids to Disney in the 80s and 90s, you'll feel the change. A once shining icon is now slowly fading like an old tree in the garden. Still standing, but its green leaves are thinning. So, what about you? If you had $5,000 for a family vacation, would you choose Disney World in Florida or Disney Sea in Tokyo? Your answer may reveal more about your priorities in life than you think. Do you remember the legendary slogan of Las Vegas? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. However, what's happening now is that what happens in Vegas is no longer staying there. The truth is, customers are slowly but surely leaving this iconic city. If you don't believe it, take a moment to watch this video. The once bustling entertainment spots are now so quiet that you could run through them without bumping into anyone. Just a few years ago, Las Vegas was still considered the entertainment capital of the world. The casinos were brightly lit with neon lights, and there were long lines of people waiting day and night to watch spectacular shows by stars like Celine Dion. Fremont Street, known for its lively music performances, was always filled with tourists. But today, according to the latest reports, MGM Resorts casino revenue has dropped by over 15% since 2019. The number of international visitors has fallen so dramatically that some casinos have had to close during the week, something that never happened before. People often blame the prices. Hotel rooms skyrocketing, expensive tickets for premium shows, and service fees that seem to increase every year. But that's not the full story. The bigger problem is that Las Vegas is no longer the only option for those seeking entertainment experiences. Cities like Macau, Singapore, and Dubai have built even more modern and luxurious resorts. And, more importantly, they don't charge $8 for a bottle of water like Vegas does. Here's an interesting statistic. Macau is now attracting double the number of high-end tourists as Las Vegas, and many of them are Americans. They fly halfway around the world just to find something different in life. But they're willing to spend big bucks on these far-flung resorts while Las Vegas struggles to bring them back. Of course, MGM isn't sitting idly by. They've started experimenting with non-gambling experiences, from high-end dining events to international concerts and full wellness services, all aimed at attracting families and younger generations. After all, not everyone who visits Vegas is there for a blackjack table or a deck of cards. But there are many who are willing to pay for experiences that make them feel special and different. Could this be the way to restore Vegas's former charm? A place that once had people fighting to get in the doors of its casinos? Imagine a Vegas that isn't just about gambling, but also a hub for culture, entertainment, and wellness. A Vegas where families can find their own joy, where young people can experience a refreshing lifestyle without worrying about sky-high costs. And above all, Vegas will no longer just be a place you visit to play. It will be a place you go to live, to enjoy, and to feel the transformation every single day. Today, you can easily move around stores, even dance the tango down the aisles without bumping into anyone. Remember the golden days when Macy's and Bloomingdale's were must-visit destinations for international tourists coming to the U.S. Shopping there wasn't just about spending money. It was an emotional experience. The annual holiday sales, the suitcase full of gifts, and then going home to tell friends all about it. All of these created unforgettable memories for shopping enthusiasts. However, things are changing. According to retail industry reports, revenue from shopping by tourists has decreased by as much as 25% in recent years. The main reason is the significant drop in international visitors coming to the U.S. Shopping habits have shifted, and instead of rushing into bustling shopping malls, tourists are now seeking cultural experiences, exploring unique cuisines, or engaging in outdoor activities to better understand the local culture. Many tourists have realized that goods in the U.S. are no longer cheaper than elsewhere. In fact, in some cases, products in the U.S. are much more expensive than in Europe or Asia. Additionally, high sales taxes, oversized luggage fees, and other additional costs make shopping at malls far less attractive. A woman from Toronto shared her story. "I used to go to New York every year just to shop at Macy's. Back then, I always came home with at least 3 suitcases full of amazing items. But now, I feel lucky if I can just buy a small silk scarf for my granddaughter. Everything I need is available in Canada, and many of the things I've bought were cheaper when I was in Italy last year." Her story isn't just a personal experience, but reflects the mindset of millions of other customers. People who once saw shopping in the U.S. as a joy, but are now looking for alternatives. This reality is not just a change in shopping habits, but a shift in how tourists experience the U.S. Shopping is no longer the main attraction. Instead, they are seeking unique experiences, exploring new cultures, and enjoying memorable moments at restaurants, cafes, or places that aren't found in traditional travel guides. This not only reflects a change in tourists' needs, but also presents a major shock to the U.S. retail economy, which once built its global reputation on unforgettable shopping trips. So the big question is, can the U.S. recover its retail industry? Or will we witness a major transformation, where new experiences become the primary consumer trend, replacing the image of traditional shopping malls? Hilton Hotels and Resorts, once a symbol of luxury and prestige, is facing a concerning reality that few could have predicted. Previously seen as the pinnacle of sophistication and beloved by travelers from around the world, Hilton is now witnessing an increasing number of vacant rooms, even during Florida's peak tourist season. A housekeeping staff member at a Hilton hotel in Florida shared that last summer. She almost had to work overtime every week, but this year, her schedule has been cut down to only 3 days a week. This isn't just coincidental. The number of international guests at Hilton has significantly decreased. There are weeks when the hotel has only a few rooms available. she mentioned that she has never seen Hilton so empty. According to STR, Hilton's occupancy rate at popular tourist spots in the US has dropped by as much as 15% compared to pre-pandemic times, despite a strong recovery in domestic tourism. So why are customers abandoning Hilton? The reasons are not hard to spot. Hotel room rates at Hilton properties have increased by about 25% compared to previous years. And on top of that, many additional service fees have made tourists start seeking more affordable and convenient alternatives. Interestingly, it's not just international guests. Even Americans are gradually shifting to smaller boutique hotels or services like Airbnb in Europe and Asia. These options are not only more affordable, but they also offer travelers unique local experiences. In fact, many loyal Hilton customers admit that they are willing to fly to Portugal or Spain, stay at a similar hotel for just 70% of the price in the US, and enjoy breathtaking scenery and new cultural experiences. To meet this demand, Hilton has started making significant investments in all-inclusive packages, including accommodation, dining, and entertainment, hoping to compete with international resorts. Additionally, Hilton is experimenting with AI-driven personalized services to enhance convenience and draw loyal customers back. These services promise to provide a highly customized shopping and vacation experience, making customers feel like an important part of Hilton's service ecosystem. Could this be the key for Hilton to regain its global appeal and rise above this crisis? A world-class tech conference that used to be held in New York has now moved to Lisbon, simply because organizing it is cheaper and more convenient there. It may sound unbelievable, but with the swift and surprising changes in the tourism and service industry, this risk is no longer a distant prospect. Will Hilton and other giants in the tourism industry find new ways to regain their position, or will they remain overshadowed by the changing global market? The answer will undoubtedly have a profound impact on the future of the travel and leisure industry. Think back to Marriott's glory days, when they were the undisputed king of the meetings and events industry, and you'll remember the gilded ballrooms in Washington, D.C., the stunning resorts in Hawaii, and the world-class service Marriott provided. For CEOs, politicians, and multi-million-dollar events, Marriott was the go-to destination. But the undeniable truth is that the market has changed, and Marriott is facing a major challenge that they can't ignore. According to the American Hotel and Lodging Association, international conference bookings in the United States have dropped nearly 30% over the past year. And unfortunately, Marriott is one of the brands that has been hit the hardest. What's causing this king to stumble? The answer is cost. It's that simple. Conference room rates in the United States are now 35% higher than in Europe. In addition, hidden service fees and rising catering costs make holding a conference in the US too expensive, making many partners nervous and no longer interested in options here. And it's not just a matter of cost. International companies and even some American companies have started looking for conference locations outside the US. Why? Because holding a conference in famous European cities is now not only cost-effective, but also provides a memorable experience for employees. Instead of holding a conference in New York, many companies are now choosing Barcelona as their destination, with strategy meetings in the morning and relaxing afternoons watching the Mediterranean sunset. Just look at the numbers and you will see the difference. A 3-day conference package in Lisbon costs just $500 per person, a savings of $400,000 or $1,000 compared to hosting a similar event in Chicago, including international airfare. Such a stark difference has Marriott in the US worried as its conference bookings are down while its European locations are soaring. But will Marriott sit back and let customers go? Of course not. It has plans to invest heavily in hybrid meeting technology, combining online and in-person experiences to deliver convenience and retain customers. What's more, Marriott is working to upgrade its conference packages, adding cultural and culinary experiences to enrich the customer journey. With the right strategy, Marriott can still reclaim a valuable portion of its market and continue to be a go-to destination for those looking for more than just work, but also experiences. What about you? If your company needs to host a conference, would you choose Midtown New York with its high costs and the buzz of a big city, or a European coastal city where you can combine work with great relaxation, explore new cultures, and enjoy great scenery? Your answer may reflect part of a larger shift in the travel and events industry, where it is not just about work, but also about life experiences. If major hotel chains are facing a loss of customers due to shifting travel trends, the question is, what about the airline industry? The industry, which relies heavily on business and leisure travel, is also experiencing major changes. Routes that were once familiar, carrying millions of passengers each year to popular destinations, are disappearing. Flights from New York to Honolulu, Los Angeles to Orlando, and transatlantic routes from Boston to Paris were all staples of American travelers' itineraries. But now, they are becoming distant memories. According to data from OAG, more than a dozen long-haul international and domestic routes on American Airlines and Delta have been cut back sharply in the past year due to a significant drop in passengers. It's not just a lack of customers, it's a change in American travel habits. Today, customers are increasingly turning to international low-cost carriers, willing to accept longer layovers to save a few $100s per ticket. The convenience of direct flights is becoming less attractive when compared to the cheaper fares offered by international airlines, and this is forcing major airlines to rethink their strategies. A clear example is the London to Orlando route. Once a legendary route, with European tourists flocking to Disney every year. However, the route has now been discontinued, with European tourists heading to Disney parks in Tokyo and Paris instead of the US. Even more heartbreaking is that before the COVID-19 pandemic, the New York to Honolulu route used to be at 92% capacity during peak season. But this year, that figure has dropped to below 70%, forcing airlines to reduce frequencies and raise fares to cover losses. This has led to many passengers switching to other airlines to save money. This is even more remarkable when we look at a strange trend. Americans are now choosing to fly Qatar Airways to Europe and then connecting to Hawaii because the total cost is even lower than a direct flight from the US. Passengers can save hundreds of dollars, and instead of expensive flights on US airlines, they choose convenient and affordable connecting flights on international airlines. To retain customers, American Airlines and Delta have begun experimenting with resort-based flight packages, offering personalized flight experiences with innovative services. But will a fancy meal or free Wi-Fi be enough to save the day? Maintaining their iconic routes will require more than just improving services. To cope with increasing competition from international airlines, major US airlines will have to come up with more creative ways to attract customers back, from improving service to creating unique and memorable flight experiences. So, if it were you, would you choose an expensive non-stop flight on a US airline or a cost-effective connecting flight on an international airline? And if even established airlines like American Airlines and Delta are struggling to retain customers, how much longer will the cruise industry, considered a vacation paradise for many, survive? As travel trends change rapidly, Americans' choice of vacation type will be influenced not only by price, but also by the unique experience each type of travel brings. Stay tuned. When many Americans think of luxury cruises, they immediately picture the giant ships of Carnival Cruise Line or Royal Caribbean sailing from Miami, the ultimate destination for luxury, sun, wind, and waves. Cruise ships with infinity pools, 24/7 buffets, non-stop entertainment, and long days of enjoying the Caribbean sunshine were once the pinnacle of vacation travel. However, the current story is far from what we imagined. According to a report by CLIA, Cruise Line International Association, the number of cruise ships departing from US ports has decreased by more than 18% compared to 2019. Meanwhile, the number of ships departing from Europe and the Caribbean has increased by nearly 25% over the same period. This reversal raises a big question. Is America's cruise paradise losing its appeal? And the answer is not so hard to guess. Price is the biggest barrier. The cost of a cruise departing from the US has increased dramatically. Port fees are getting higher, and even domestic flights to departure ports are skyrocketing. This has caused many travelers, especially retired Americans, to start looking at other options. For the same budget, they realize that they can fly to Europe, Take a Mediterranean cruise, visit Italy, France, and Greece, all beautiful countries, instead of just hanging around the Caribbean. A clear example is a 7-day cruise from Miami to the Bahamas, which costs about $200 per person. However, for just $150 more, you can board a Royal Caribbean cruise departing from Barcelona and visit 3 wonderful countries, Italy, France, and Greece, in one itinerary. This has completely changed the perspective of many customers. A trip to the Caribbean may still be appealing, but the Mediterranean is truly unmissable. So Carnival and Royal Caribbean are planning to expand their international cruise lines and upgrade their port experiences. They're looking to add exclusive anchorages, local cultural tours, and partner with celebrity chefs to create unique dining experiences for their guests. These changes are meant to differentiate themselves and hopefully return U.S. cruises to their former glory. So if you had 7 days off, would you choose a familiar Caribbean cruise departing from Miami? Or would you fly to Barcelona and enjoy a Mediterranean cruise, experiencing 3 countries in one trip? It's not just about choosing between 2 destinations. It's about how we view and experience travel. Are you willing to change your perspective to have a more memorable vacation, even if it means crossing an ocean? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Who would have thought that one day the iconic casinos of Atlantic City, once symbols of luxury, prosperity, and pride of the American entertainment industry, would have to be put up for sale? Caesars Entertainment, one of the largest and most prestigious casino corporations in the world, behind a series of famous casinos from Las Vegas to New Orleans, was once a dream destination for the elite and tourists looking for bright lights and lavish parties. But today, the story of Caesars is gradually changing. In recent years, the sharp decline in international visitors is pushing many famous brands into difficult situations. Revenue from international visitors is down more than 20%. Hotel bookings are also constantly decreasing. This is a big shock for a brand that was once a symbol of the American casino industry. Similar to MGM Resorts, Caesars Entertainment is facing fierce competition from more developed international markets. Destinations like Singapore, Macau, and Monte Carlo have become more attractive options for the elite, where guests can not only gamble but also experience personalized service, complimentary suites, and multi-million-dollar promotions in a single night. It is the rising costs of services combined with competition from overseas markets that have forced Caesars to cut staff, close some tables at major casinos, and reduce the number of shows to save costs. But the biggest shock is yet to come. According to reputable sources in the industry, a portion of Caesars Entertainment's assets, its prestigious hotels and casinos, are now in negotiations to be sold to foreign investors. It would be the first time that part of a U.S. casino empire has fallen into foreign hands, a worrying sign of change in the industry. Ironically, Las Vegas, which once proudly declared itself the casino capital of the world, now faces an uncertain future. It may have to continue expanding, at least until its entire casino empire is sold. To retain its appeal, Caesars Entertainment is experimenting with a new model, the multi-entertainment model. Going beyond gambling, Caesars is incorporating a variety of entertainment, from concerts to sporting events to fine dining, all in an effort to attract a new group of customers who come here for more than just gambling. The biggest question, however, remains: will these changes be enough to preserve the soul of the American casino industry, which has long been an irreplaceable symbol of the country? Can the multi-entertainment model sustain and even bring Caesars back to its former glory? And if you are a tourist, would you still want to go to Las Vegas, where there is now more than just gambling, but also a mix of different experiences? Would you continue to choose a traditional casino or the promising new options from international markets? We invite you to follow this journey, discovering the real stories behind the seemingly ordinary headlines. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next content. All information in this video is compiled from trade reports, public data, and official documents as of August 2025. Please note, this video is not intended as political propaganda, is not aimed at any individual or organization, and does not represent any government. Our sole goal is to bring you an insight and help you better understand the major changes that are affecting the U.S. economy and society. We can't just let this go without reflection. Share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the future of the U.S. casino and tourism industry? Can legacy brands bounce back? Let's discuss.